Now, you may not like it, but this is what Great Sword Peak Performance in Title Update 2 looks like. And it's awesome! Hello, ladies and gentlemen, hunters all! A new title update means new monsters means new armor means new ways to hit harder! So, my fellow Great Sword users, who's ready to swing our big stick here? Why did I say big stick here? What the... big stick... that doesn't sound right. So while Title Update 1 may have done precious little for the Great Sword, Title Update 2 is not so. We are not only changing weapon, but we are changing 4 out of the 5 pieces of armor from the previous best build.
You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
Oh yes, it's time to be very excited. Our previous best build's effective raw was 861 in Title Update 1. Now, we are crossing over the 900 mark, which as you can imagine is quite the blast. And also, literally quite the blast, because the new best greatsword is definitively Scorned Magna Malo. Before, it was a choice twixt Scorned or Chimera. Chimera gave you a 4 slot instead of a 3 and 10 more hits of purple sharpness, whereas Scorned gave you a bit of blast damage. It was very close and really personal preference. Now, Scorned is definitively better, and before we go over why, Flaming Espinas Greatsword is pretty terrible, at least for offensive guard Strongarm. It's pretty good for fire and surge slash, but we'll get to that down the line. And then Violet Mizutsune is just kind of full-on bad. So, the reason we are now definitively using Scorned Magna Malo is because we need a status on our weapon. The reason we need a status on our weapon is because of Build-Up Boost, the new skill from Risen Chameleos. We will only be using rank 1 of it from the gloves, but that's okay because it's an incredibly efficient rank. It means every time we slap the monster with our greatsword and we build up blast, you get that little cloud of orange, you do 10% more damage. That happens every 3rd attack, which means averaging out, this 1 rank of a skill is a 3.33, recurring of course, increase to damage, which is incredibly potent and certainly worth using in conjunction with Scorned Magna. And indeed, we set the Scorned Magna to full attack augment, as we will be getting Agitator, which will make up the final 10% affinity that we need to reach 100% after Weakness Exploit and Crit I7. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Did I just say myself? Yes! I am getting ahead of us! Anyway, the new armor that we are using then is quite literally a triple mix of the 3 new monsters, which is really quite cool. Lunagaron remains the same in the helmet, but then we have Flaming Espinas chest, the Risen Chameleos gloves, and the Violet Mizutsune waist and legs. This all comes together to give us one hell of a base. Special shout out to the 1 rank of Embolden we get thanks to Violet, which gives us essentially a rank of Evade Window and Guard, which means emergency blocking is a lot more viable, and you can much more easily roll through things like this. Yeah, that felt good. I mean, this entire build feels good. Before we put the decorations in and do the math, I mean, just look at the opening. I whiff, sadly, the Enrage Raw extra hit counter, but you're just seeing the constant damage being poured out in the way that Greatsword do. When you get a full-on Strongarm True Charge that happens to proc Blast so it triggers build-up, and you're fully amped with your Power Sheath on a nice squishy bit of the monster, yeah, you are going to be feeling like an absolute king of death dealing, and damn it, you should do, as you have taken the almighty smart decision to be using the best weapon. So let's actually go through the decorations then, so you can have a little bit of a look of what exactly we end up with. And what we end up with... Ha! One hell of a skill list, my god. So we get full on attack, critical eye, agitator at 3, crit boost at 3, weakness exploit 3, offensive guard 3, we get our stun resistance weaved in, and then a smattering of little bonus skills that kind of help a little bit, but not enough for me to put into the calculations, but definitely is there, like Embolden, like Adrenaline Rush when you do get that dodge, and of course that build-up boost, which certainly is worth calculating in because it's incredibly potent. It basically is just a full-on... It's beautiful. And I am so happy we are getting a finally big amp up in an update. Oh, and my talisman is the Critical Eye 3 with a 2 and a 1 slot, and if you obviously don't have something that potent, though I imagine a lot of you do by now, obviously restructure as makes sense to allow for what you do have, complemented with Curious Crafting. And talking of complementing Curious Crafting, hey Curious Crafting, you're looking good today. Thank you! What the hell am I doing with my life? You want to be aiming for the last 2 ranks of Agitator. After that, it is dealer's choice, whether you want utility, maybe a bit of handicraft or sharpness management if 20 hits is a bit finicky for you, maybe a bit of speed sharpen, maybe some quick sheath, maybe some resentment to really min-max. The world is truly your oyster. For example, I got an offensive guard on my violet legs, which lets me go up to Agitator 4, which is really nice, so I'm only 1 away from true perfection. But let's talk maths then, and the maths I'll be talking is on the base build with no Curious Crafting, of course. So, we have a 3-4-5 base weapon with the attack augments, which is lovely. We get the extra 10 from attack 7, and then we take Agitator to be up half the time. It's actually more than that, especially because of Embolden, which will more likely enrage the monster, but we'll go with half, which is certainly more than fair. But yeah, Agitator definitely has gotten a lot better thanks to the Violet Mizutsune armor, which thankfully we can wear, as the whole set is almost like it was made for Great Sword. In any case, we have that 845, we have the plus 10 from attack, we have plus 6 from half Agitator 3, and then we get our multiplication on for the 10% from attack boost 7, the 15% from offensive guard, as it is always up for our counter, which is where all our damage comes from. We have the 1.39 increase from purple sharpness, we have ourselves the affinity increase, which with half value Agitator 3 is 93.5% affinity, meaning we have a 37.4% increase from that, and then lastly the 3.33% increase from build-up boost, triggering 1/3 of the time thanks to the blast, giving us a grand total of 900 EFR on this build, plus a few blast procs here and there doing some extra damage. Lo and behold, ladies and gentlemen, it is truly magnificent and really is a peak greatsword when it comes to Title Update 2. There really isn't anything else we can be doing better here, and it's a really satisfying, fun build to use that has some massive amounts of power behind it. With that said then, I hope you definitely have found this useful. I hope you're as excited to get it crafted and start using it as I am and was. And until we meet again with many, much and more builds to delight your senses, consider liking and subscribing for more. Also, consider supporting this channel on Patreon down below. It keeps us going and lets us make the stuff that you hopefully want to see. It really does mean the world. Thank you. For now, though, until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.